you mentioned you're a big fan of the late Howard Finkle, and you've had the Fink be a MC for a vast amount of the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremonies. What did that mean to you?
I was unbelievable. Like I said, he was the one that I looked up to, and I would always emulate his voice. And even at pay-per-view parties or whatever it may be, I'm always, yelling out announcements in Howard's voice, and that was a very cool opportunity to. How it started, 2010. I went to Pompton Plains, New Jersey, and it was for the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, which at the time they were based out of Amsterdam, New York. They were doing a special banquet dinner in Pompton Plains, and Howard Finkel was the MC for that evening. So it was a sit down dinner. I walk in, everybody's mingling beforehand, and Howard Finkel approaches me and my buddy Steve, who was there with me, and he's like, "Where are you guys coming from?"
That is incredible.
Yeah, and
It sounded spot on.
it was just mind boggling that I'm even standing there with Howard Finkel, somebody I looked up to. Now I had met him as a fan over the years, just very brief at a WWF show or something, but now I'm standing there with him actually having a conversation, and it's a different story. So it kind of adds a different layer to things. And he asked where we were coming from and what brought us to the event. And once I said that I was coming from Rhode Island and my buddy was coming from Massachusetts, out of nowhere he goes, "Oh, well, you must be familiar with the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame." And I was speechless because Howard Finkel knows about my Hall of Fame that I've started. I couldn't believe that, and I literally was speechless. I didn't know what to say. I was just kind of mind boggled. And my buddy Steve had to step in and said, "Well, yeah, this is Joe. He runs the New England Hall of Fame." And we just hit it off from there. And Howard's like, "You mind if I join you at your table for dinner?" So he sat with us at our table, and it was a round table, maybe 5, 6 people per table. Um, One of the agents, Scott Epstein, the late Scott Epstein, he was at our table, as well as the late Bob Mulren, a photographer, WrestlingFigs.com. So we had a lot of cool people to talk to and bounce stories off of. Um, and Howard Finkel sat with us, and we picked his brain, and he told us story after story after story. And he actually ended up saying to me, basically offering his services for the New England Hall of Fame. If you ever keep me in mind, I would love, absolutely love to, host your ceremony. And that was, in my mind, not even a possibility. I mean, what? Howard Finkel? Okay, So once I realized he was serious about it, he wasn't just, being nice and throwing that out there. I contacted him. He gave me his contact. We kept in touch. And he debuted for me the following year, 2011. He hosted the Fan Fest as an MC, and he did an entrance of the stars when all the guys came out, for the Fan Fest. He'd introduce them one at a time, and he hosted the ceremony that night, 2011. And we took 2012 off. 2013, he was back with us hosting the ceremony. 2014, 2015. So, he was doing it every year for us. Um, and yeah, that was just unbelievable. And he actually became a really good friend, and we would talk on the phone all the time. And he was, so generous, always giving me tickets to the shows, and just a wealth of knowledge. The stories that he would share over the phone were unbelievable. He hooked me up with Chief Jay Strongbow. He said he called me up one day and so, Joe, how would you feel about having Chief Jay Strongbow at the Fan Fest? And at that point, Chief wasn't doing a lot. He was very selective in what he did. Um, so I said, "Oh my gosh, I mean, Chief Jay, that would be, unbelievable to appear at the Fan Fest." So we made that happen through Howard. So that was a big deal. And same with Bob Backlund. We had a surprise appearance where Bob Backlund came out, and kind of said some nice words about Chief, about Martel, about Tito, because they were all inducted that night. And that was a surprise put together by Howard as well. So we did a lot of cool things together, and booked Howard for my good friend's wedding, and he came to that, and he always had his rubber band joke. Howard Finkel always had the rubber band. He'd be very serious. He'd come to the mic, everybody would listen in, and he would always say, "Can I have your attention, please? Would the person who lost the wad of $100 bills in the rubber band please come forward? We found the rubber band." And a cheesy joke indeed,
Yeah.
but he would use that every single year. And, you get a lot of the same fans. So, everybody would kind of chuckle, and sometimes you get some new laughs. But you also had some people that were like, okay, Howard, we heard that last year. And I'll never forget, he did it for the final time, 2015, did the same joke again, big crowd. Everybody's listening in, hits him with the joke. Jim Ross is standing next to me, and JR just looks up and says, "Oh, come on, Howard, give it up." And and they were good friends, but he, I'm sure, had heard that joke for 30 years, so pretty funny.